podcast where truth moves faster than a Holstein calf. No waiting on some pretty page. We're charting new ground in the digital age. From genomic codes to worldwide facts, we cut through the noise, no holding back. Not your daddy's dairy news tonight. We're sparking debates with every insight. The ring's not where the real fight's at. It's in the data, in the channel chat. From pasture to processor to your morning cup, we're raising the stakes. Try and get ahead of herd. Yeah! Where the future's more than just a word. Ahead of herd. Come on! The bullvine's calling, let your voice be heard.
Welcome to the Bullvine Podcast, where we dive deep into the vital issues shaping the modern dairy industry worldwide. I'm your host, and today we're exploring the crucial balance between genetic progress and maintaining herd health. Whether you're a seasoned dairy producer, breeder, or anyone interested in the future of dairy genetics, this episode is packed with insights for you. Let's get started.
Welcome back to the Bullvine Podcast, the show that digs deep into the topics that matter to dairy producers.
That's right. Today, we're tackling a really interesting feature article from the Bullvine that's got everyone talking. We're going to break it all down.
Today, we're taking a deep dive into an incredibly important piece from the Bullvine titled The Silent Cost of Elite Dairy Genetics. Our mission with this deep dive is really to pull back the curtain on something that's quietly yet significantly draining profits from dairy operations worldwide. That's the often overlooked financial impact of inbreeding. We're going to explore why focusing only on those high genomic indexes and TPI numbers, without considering the bigger genetic picture, could be costing you a lot more than you realize.
Yeah, it's a hidden cost.
Exactly. And we'll unpack the critical industry-wide shift that's now happening towards prioritizing, true genetic diversity in dairy breeding.
It's a topic that might make some people a bit uncomfortable, especially those who've prided themselves on achieving, top genomic scores and building what they think are the most elite herds.
Right.
But a crucial point the article makes is that while we've been relentlessly chasing those high TPI numbers, often with the best intentions, maybe trying to maximize profit,
Sure.
There's been this significant, often unseen cost just piling up in the background. So we're going to challenge some common assumptions about what elite really means in today's dairy world and discuss why it's never been more critical to look beyond just the immediate performance numbers for long-term herd health, resilience, and ultimately profitability.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Our first major theme from the article is the hidden drain unpacking the silent cost of inbreeding.
Right.
The piece kicks off by highlighting this growing feeling among industry leaders, globally actually, that the genetic diversity challenge isn't just crucial anymore. It's rapidly turning into, potentially a crisis.
Yeah, it's poised to become a major industry problem if we don't, get ahead of it.
Exactly. Get ahead of it fast. It really makes you rethink things, doesn't it? For so long, we've poured resources into chasing the highest genomic indexes, those impressive TPI numbers. We celebrate them. We aim for them.
Mm-hmm.
But the article points out we hardly ever dig into what's lurking underneath those shiny scores, which is the escalating risk of losing genetic diversity and, crucially, just quietly bleeding cash without even noticing.
Yeah, it's like finding a silent leak, like you said, in the strongest part of your barn. You never knew to look for it until, whoops, the floorboards are damp.
That's a great analogy. It perfectly captures it. And it brings to mind that specific anecdote from the article, too.
Oh, yeah, the farm visit.
Right. The writer visiting that pretty solid 2,500 cow operation up in New York State. The owner was, understandably beaming. Proud his herd's average TPI had hit 2,800.
And on the surface, those are fantastic numbers. That's the benchmark most producers would love to hit.
Absolutely. But then the conversation took this sharp, kind of unexpected turn. The article describes how behind those glittering stats, the herd's genetic base looked, and I quote, dangerously narrow. Dangerously narrow.
Yeah. And that's when the comfortable chat about elite genetics suddenly shifted. It became about facing this looming threat of a shrinking gene pool. And the writer just says, and honestly, it got uncomfortable real quick.
That phrase really hits home, doesn't it? It captures that unspoken tension that's gripping the industry now. It's uncomfortable because for years we've chased these high TPIs is the ultimate sign of success, right? We've invested heavily,
Mm-hmm.
and now the very foundation of that success is being questioned. It exposes this hidden vulnerability that could honestly cost a fortune.
Uncomfortable real quick is
Yeah.
definitely putting it mildly. When you start talking about the math that should keep you awake at night, that's the next big thing the article tackled.
Yeah, the dollars and cents.
Because this isn't some, abstract genetic theory. This is about real money just walking right out your barn door, totally unnoticed. Right.
The article specifies that every single 1% increase in a cow's inbreeding coefficient, which is basically a measure of how likely she is to have identical genes from both parents because of shared ancestry.
Shared family lines.
Right. That 1% uptick can cost you around $22 to $24 in lifetime profit per cow.
22 to 24 bucks per cow for every 1%.
Yeah. Let's really put that into perspective. If you've got, say, a 500 cow herd and your average inbreeding goes up by just 1%, you're potentially losing $11,000 to $12,000 in lifetime profit across that herd.
Wow.
And that's not a one-off hit. It compounds year after year, cow after cow.
And it shows up in ways you might not immediately connect to inbreeding, right? Like reduced fertility.
Exactly. More breeding attempts, longer calving intervals.
Higher disease susceptibility. So more vet bills, more treatments.
Yep. Lower calf figure, maybe higher calf mortality rates, meaning fewer good replacements coming through.
Which then leads to, I guess, a shorter productive life for the cow overall.
You got it. Higher replacement costs. Each one of those things just quietly chips away at your bottom line.
And that's only part of the picture, because here's the real kicker. The thing that should genuinely make you sit up and pay attention.
Yep.
There was a 2023 Italian study, the article cites it, and it suggested that the real damage from inbreeding might be, get this, 40% worse than we previously thought.
40%.
Wow. How? The older estimates were based on pedigree calculations, just looking at the family tree.
Right.
Those suggested about a 44 kilogram loss of milk per 1% increase in inbreeding. But now, with genomic data, where you can actually see the identical DNA segments, that figure jumped to 61 kilograms of milk loss.
61 kilograms instead of 44. That's huge.
It's a massive difference. It reveals a much higher unseen cost, reflecting the true biological hit that we just couldn't measure accurately before genomics. That's a 40% higher unseen cost, hitting production directly.
And when you put those losses in today's market, the article mentioned, milk prices around $18.93 a hundredweight, labor costs pushing $18 an hour.
Yeah, the current realities.
When you combine that direct profit loss per cow, the $22, $24, with this bigger underestimated milk production drop, and then multiply that across your whole herd.
It adds up incredibly fast. It's definitely not small potatoes. It's quietly eroding years of hard work, hitting your bottom line hard.
It really is a wake-up call. And the article then asks this really pointed question. Have you actually calculated your operations inbreeding exposure?
Good question.
It goes on, most producers I know haven't. And I get why it's not exactly the sexy topic your AI rep brings up during sire selection meetings.
No, probably not the first thing they lead with.
Which leads us to why elite has become this kind of double-edged sword, and why there's this unspoken consensus in the industry that nobody really wants to tackle head on.
Right. Because genomic selection, it's been undeniably powerful, right? It drove incredible genetic progress, helped us find the best performers way faster than before.
Absolutely. Game changer.
But at the same time, it's acted like this massive accelerant for inbreeding. It concentrated those elite genetics so quickly that it's kind of inadvertently created this genetic bottleneck that now directly threatens the health and productivity of our herds.
That's the paradox, isn't it?
Yeah.
The tool that pushed us forward so fast is now creating this major long-term challenge.
Exactly. And the numbers really back this up. The Council on Dairy Cattle Breeding data showed that even back in 2017, the genetic concentration in North American AI programs was already at concerning levels.
Concerning how?
Well, we're talking about a situation where just a handful of elite sires were basically fathering the vast majority of young bulls entering AI programs worldwide.
Wow, a small group having a huge impact.
Think about the ripple effect. If the top 10 or 20 bulls are used everywhere, overwhelmingly, their genes quickly dominate the whole population. Now, take that level of concentration and multiply it across millions, literally millions, of breeding decisions made by dairy producers everywhere. You can see how that genetic bottleneck doesn't just become possible, it becomes, like the article says, inevitable.
Inevitable. That's a strong word.
And the reluctance to talk about it openly, it often comes down to challenging that prevailing idea. that just chasing the highest TPI is always the best, most profitable move.
Right, because that's been the mantra for so long.
But as we're seeing, it's quietly eating away at profitability and resilience. And if your AI rep isn't bringing it up, well, it's often because the focus is still on that immediate performance kick, not the long-term genetic health and the true cost of that genetic erosion.
Okay, so if that's the problem, what's the solution? Where do we go from here? This is where the conversation gets really interesting as we pivot into what the article calls the elite outcross revolution.
Right. The fix.
Now, for a long time, outcrossing, well, it had a pretty bad rap in the dairy industry, didn't it?
Oh, yeah, definitely. People worried it would dilute their prized bloodlines. They thought it meant, random mating with some genetically distant animal that might actually be inferior overall.
And you can see why, right?
Yeah.
That would set a serious breeding program back. Nobody wants to just throw random, potentially negative genetics into years of careful work, undo decades of progress just to be different.
Absolutely not. But the article really emphasizes that this new approach to outcrossing, it's fundamentally different from that old risky idea.
How so?
It's not a wild gamble anymore. It's precision science. It's about leveraging all this robust genomic data we now have to make calculated, almost surgical strikes in breeding programs.
Surgical strikes. I like that.
Yeah. It's about bringing in new genetics deliberately with a clear understanding of what they offer and their potential impact, not just, throwing darts at a board hoping for some genetic wildcard.
Makes sense.
And here's a crucial insight the article shares. Many industry insiders, people at major companies like Select Sires, ABS, they're actually moving away from the term outcrossing altogether.
Oh, why is that?
Because of that historical baggage, that negative connotation, they're talking about diversity instead.
Diversity.
And their reasoning makes a lot of sense. The real goal isn't just finding one genetically distant bull who's an outlier. I mean, that might bring in some novelty, sure, but that one bull could still be pretty mediocre overall.
Right. Different doesn't automatically mean better.
Exactly. The true objective, as they see it, is strategically using many different genetic lines, building genuine, long-term resilience and breadth in your herd's genetic base. It's about variety on both sides of the pedigree, sire and dam, to construct something that's fundamentally stronger, more adaptable, and ultimately more sustainable.
Okay, so it's not just finding a stranger, it's finding a complementary stranger. Someone who adds real genetic value and broadens the base in a targeted way.
Precisely. And the article gives some solid, proven examples that show the strategy works. It shows that outcrossing isn't gambling when it's backed by good genomic data and clear breeding goals.
Like who?
Well, think about bulls like Co-op Boss-Eyed Massey. He brought really wide appeal by offering something genetically different but still high-performing. He essentially created a whole new valuable branch on the Holstein family tree.
I remember Massey, yeah.
Or Zani Bolton Mascalis. He famously brought European bloodlines into North America, which really diversified the gene pool here at a crucial time. Brought in fresh genetic combos we didn't have.
Okay.
And more recently, you've got stars like 1401515179 Trooper and his son, 7H016276 Sheepster. They showed how you can meticulously blend unique maternal lines with high merit sires to create real lasting value.
So these aren't just flukes, it's strategic planning paying off.
Exactly. These bulls weren't just different, they were purposefully different, carefully picked to bring in new desirable genes without wrecking the overall performance package.
And this fundamentally changes the conversation for producers, right, when they're making breeding decisions.
Absolutely. It's not just about asking the simple question, what's his TPI anymore? I mean, TPI is still important, tells you about performance potential.
Sure.
But the smart money, as the article puts it, is now asking much more nuanced questions like, okay, what's his relationship to my herd?
Deeper dive.
Yeah. It forces you to look at the pedigree and the genomic data to see how closely related this potential sire is to your existing cows. Make sure you're not just chasing high numbers within an already narrow pool.
And the other key question.
Critically, how does his genetic background really complement what I've already got? It's not just about avoiding inbreeding, it's about actively looking for genetic profiles that fill gaps in your herd.
Like adding disease resistance or heat tolerance, maybe?
Exactly, things like that. Introduce new strengths, enhance overall herd health, productivity. It's about building true long-term resilience and adaptability, not just chasing those short-term gains that might come with these hidden accumulating costs down the line. It's strategic thinking for the sustainability and profitability of your dairy.
Which brings us right to, how the smart money is playing this game. Because the AI companies, well, they definitely figured this out, haven't they? And they're adapting fast.
Oh, yeah. They see the writing on the wall.
They're realizing they aren't just selling semen packages anymore. It's more like they're selling sophisticated genetic risk management.
That's a good way to put it. It's a whole new ballgame, and the ones who are doing it right are really innovating, setting themselves apart.
But the article points out a challenge they face too, right?
Yeah, there's this market reality they have to deal with. The article mentions German AI professionals observing that, look, a lot of large commercial operations, they still prioritize those top performance indexes above everything else, including pedigree diversity.
So the market still rewards the highest TPI bull.
In many cases, yeah, regardless of genetic relationships, which, unfortunately doesn't always incentivize companies, in the short term anyway, to maintain those really diverse genetic portfolios. That's tricky.
It is. But despite that, some companies are making really significant strides. The Canadian approach, using Semex as an example, is pretty interesting.
What are they doing?
They've deliberately maintained what they call genetically free female lines. These are unique cow families, basically, that aren't heavily related to the mainstream Holstein population.
Wow.
It's a long-term vision. It means they can always bring something genuinely different, genetically unique to the market when diversity becomes absolutely critical for producers down the road.
That's like building a genetic insurance policy.
Kind of. It's a proactive approach, reflects maybe a Canadian perspective on sustainable breeding that values future resilience, genetic flexibility, not just immediate gains. They're curating a genetic library for future needs. That's incredibly forward-thinking. And it's not just Semex, right? ABS Global is mentioned too.
Right. ABS Global has their Genetic Management System 2.0. This system uses advanced genomic intelligence to guide mating choices. And crucially, it specifically includes genomic inbreeding calculations.
So more precise than just pedigree.
Way more precise. It's moving from a rough guess based on the family tree to a much more accurate data-driven approach using the actual DNA. Instead of just knowing a bull and cow share a great-grandparent, they can pinpoint the exact DNA segments that are identical. Gives you a much clearer picture of the true genetic relationship and the risk.
Okay. And Semex has tools for farmers too.
Yeah. Semex also has tools like Semex Works and Optimate. These essentially hand the keys over to the farmers. They let producers define their own economic parameters, build personalized selection indexes based on their specific herd goals. Maybe it's milk fat, maybe fertility, maybe longevity, or some combination.
So you can customize it to your farm.
Exactly. It's like giving you the GPS for your breeding program instead of just telling you where to turn. You set your destination based on your herd's needs, and the tool helps you navigate the complex genetic map, avoiding those genetic potholes and optimizing for your unique path.
What about Select Sires?
Select Sires isn't sitting still either. They combine sort of high-touch consulting with tech through programs like Stratagen.
Stratagen, okay. What does that do?
What Stratagen does is manage inbreeding by rotating distinct, unrelated sire lines every 18 months.
Oh, interesting. Simple idea.
Simple, but pretty brilliant in practice. It creates this natural break in genetic concentration by ensuring new, diverse bloodlines are regularly introduced before inbreeding can build up too much within one specific line.
So it prevents that accumulation.
Right. It offers dairies a clear path to manage genetic risk without necessarily sacrificing performance. This whole discussion, though, it brings up a key point for you, the producer, standing there with your AI catalog.
What's the takeaway?
My advice, and the article really hammers this home, is clear. Don't just take the sales pitch at face value. You need to ask the hard questions. Ask about true genetic diversity in their outcross catalogs. Who's really giving you genuinely diverse genetics with low expected future inbreeding, and who's just selling shiny TPI promises that might be masking underlying risks?
So demand transparency.
Absolutely. Demand transparency. Ask your genetic providers about their inbreeding management strategies. Ask about their free lines. Ask how their tools can help you specifically analyze your herd's relationships and manage your inbreeding coefficient. Push them. Make them show you the data, not just the glossy brochure.
And looking even further ahead, the article points to some really groundbreaking stuff on the horizon, things that could totally reshape dairy genetics. We're talking the future horizon AI, global policies, and gene editing.
Yeah, the really futuristic stuff.
The future, as the article sees it, belongs to machine learning. Imagine AI just crunching these massive genomic databases, optimizing matings through incredibly powerful algorithms like optimal contribution selection,
OCS.
OCS, it's not just about picking the best bull for one cow. It's operating on a whole different level, looking at the entire population.
How does it work, basically?
Well, a truly groundbreaking part of OCS is that it's like playing chess on a global scale. Every move, every mating it suggests, considers not just the immediate genetic gain you might get in the next generation, but also the crucial long-term sustainability of the whole breed. OCS calculates the ideal genetic contribution from each potential parent to maximize overall progress across the herd, while simultaneously keeping inbreeding constrained to healthy levels.
So it optimizes for both performance and health.
Exactly. It proactively prevents the kind of bottlenecks we've been talking about by making sure parental contributions are diverse across the population. The companies that master this intersection of artificial intelligence and artificial insemination,
they are absolutely going to dominate the next chapter of dairy breeding. It won't just be about who has the highest TPI bulls anymore. It'll be about who has the sharpest algorithms to use all that genomic data effectively, strategically, to build a sustainable genetic future. It's a fundamental shift.
And this isn't just about your individual farm, is it? The article makes that point. Your herd doesn't exist in isolation.
Crucial point.
And here's something that might surprise people, but the article highlights it. The Holstein breed. It's now effectively a single global population.
Really? How so?
Elite genetics just flow freely across borders. North American bloodlines, driven by those early genomic selection wins, basically dominate worldwide now. In some regions, it's over 90% North American genetics being used.
Wow. So that genetic bottleneck isn't just a U.S. or Canadian issue.
It's a global one. It affects everyone with Holstein genetics. Makes the problem exponentially bigger, more complex. It shows the reach of these genetics. But it's also a stark warning about, shared vulnerability.
And that global context means policy and international coordination becomes super important, right, for managing this shared resource.
Exactly.
And what's really fascinating here is Italy's leadership on the policy front. They've actually updated their National Genetic Index, the PFT, to include a direct mathematical correction based on a bull's expected future inbreeding.
What does that mean?
It's groundbreaking. Bulls predicted to increase inbreeding in the population get penalized in their official rankings. Bulls that actively bring diversity and reduce future inbreeding get a boost.
So they're actively rewarding diversity at a national level.
Yes. It's the first time I've seen a country build inbreeding management right into its national breeding policy. Sets a powerful example other countries might follow as they face similar issues.
And there are international groups working on this too.
Yeah, beyond just national policies, you've got organizations like the Council on Dairy Cattle Breeding, CDCB, and Interbull working hard behind the scenes. They coordinate international genetic evaluations, ensure data integrity across borders so producers worldwide can compare bulls fairly.
Okay.
Their systems help you understand how genetics will perform under specific conditions, which is vital, but they also play a huge role in managing global diversity by providing that transparent, standardized data.
And then there's the really cutting-edge tech, gene editing, CRISPR.
Yes, CRISPR holds incredible promise for really precise genetic tweaks.
Like that.
Imagine being able to make super precise changes, like adding polled genetics to elite lines so you skip dehorning altogether.
Okay.
Boosting disease resistance, maybe cutting down vet bills and antibiotic use, or even modifying milk composition directly for, say, better cheese yield. All without that linkage drag you get with traditional breeding.
Linkage drag.
Yeah.
That's when you get unwanted traits along with the good ones.
Exactly. It's a common headache. CRISPR, by precisely cutting and pasting DNA, could be the ultimate elite outcross. The surgical introduction of a desired trait or diversity without any of the associated baggage or risk of bringing in junk genetics. Pinpoint accuracy.
So like targeting heat tolerance or mastitis resistance directly.
Precisely. Researchers are actively working on things like that instead of relying on the slower, less predictable conventional breeding path.
But it's not quite mainstream yet, is it?
No, definitely not. It's truly revolutionary in potential, but we have to acknowledge there are significant hurdles. Regulatory hurdles are huge. How do you classify these animals and their products? Are they GMOs? Something else. That affects everything from labels to trade.
And ethical concerns.
Big ones. Animal welfare implications, broader public acceptance of, designer animals, and gene-edited food. Getting the science right is one thing.
Getting society on board is another.
Exactly. Public perception will be massive in its adoption. It holds immense potential to reshape dairy genetics, offering unprecedented control, but its journey to widespread use depends on a lot more than just the science working.
Okay, so after digesting all of that, what's the key takeaway? What are the really actionable insights for a farmer listening right now?
Right. Well, their article provides a clear action plan because, as it wisely says, knowledge without action is just expensive education.
Good point. So, step 1.
First, audit your genetic risk exposure. Most producers just don't have a clear data-driven handle on their herd's inbreeding levels. So step 1 is start genomic testing your breeding females. Establish a baseline for their inbreeding coefficients.
Using that FROH measure you mentioned.
Exactly. Fraction of runs of homozygosity. It's not just a number. It actually identifies the segments of DNA that are identical from both parents, gives you a much clearer genomic snapshot of true relatedness than old pedigrees ever could.
And this saves money.
The article is clear. This can save you up to $24 per cow annually. Think of it like getting a report card for your herd's hidden genetic liabilities, letting you tackle issues before they cost you next year's profits. Especially with the margin squeeze we're seeing in 2025 from high feed and energy costs, you need to understand and manage this.
Okay, audit the risk. What's number 2?
Second, demand diversity to recover production. You need to really evaluate your AI company's diversity management. Don't just look at the top TPIs. Ask your reps specifically about elite outcross sires bulls that bring genuine genetic diversity without sacrificing merit.
Ask about their strategies.
Yes. Ask about their strategies for maintaining variety in their bull studs. This approach, backed by that Italian study, could recover potentially 61 kilograms of lifetime milk per cow just by reducing the impact of those genetic bottlenecks. This isn't just future-proofing. It's part of a global shift towards sustainable genetics that's happening now. Get on board early for a competitive edge.
Got it. Demand diversity.
Third, embrace advanced mating strategies. Push your AI provider for strategies that use tools like optimal contribution selection, OCS. These AI-driven approaches balance that immediate genetic gain with long-term genetic health and diversity.
And the benefit there.
By using these tools actively, you can directly cut vet and replacement costs. You get better fertility, less disease, improved longevity. Forward-thinking farms are already seeing real results with these AI tools in 2025. They're practical, profitable solutions, not just theory.
Okay. Embrace advanced strategies. And finally,
future-proof your operation against this genetic squeeze that's tightening worldwide. That means demanding transparency from your genetics provider about the actual genetic relationships in their bull lineup.
Don't just take TPI at face value.
Exactly. Don't just trust the marketing. Ask for detailed genomic relationship info. Understand how truly diverse their outcross bulls really are. This understanding is critical as global Holsteinization keeps consolidating the gene pool faster than ever. It's about positioning your herd for long-term health, productivity, and profit in a world where genetic diversity is becoming a super valuable asset.
That's incredibly practical, vital advice.
Yeah.
It really drives home that ignoring this genetic risk management stuff is, well, perilous. It just quietly drains profits when you're not looking.
Precisely. And the article leaves us with this really powerful, almost unsettling thought that I think every dairy producer should really internalize.
What's that?
The most expensive cow isn't the one that costs the most up front. It's the one that silently costs you money for years without you knowing it.
Wow, that is hard.
Doesn't it? Those who act now gauge their risk, rethink sire selection, demand transparency, and advanced tools. They're the ones who will be the winners in the next decade. They'll be the thriving operations, while others are scrambling to catch up when diversity truly becomes the scarcest resource. This conversation is just getting started, and waiting just makes managing the risk more expensive and finding solutions harder. It's really time to make genetic diversity a non-negotiable part of your breeding strategy.
Great points. And that's all the time we have for today's deep dive. For more articles and insights, be sure to visit www.thebullvine.com.
Don't forget to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for listening.
Thank you for joining us on the Bullvine Podcast. We hope today's episode gave you valuable knowledge to improve your breeding strategies and protect your herd's longevity. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with fellow farmers. Follow us on social media to stay updated and connected. Until next time, keep innovating and keep your herd healthy.